Hello, it's Wendy Lanham here and
Crosbie
Lorimer here from Balcaddy Media, and it's our final wrap for the Rolex Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race this year, 2023, and it's been a really fun week for us. There's been some interesting common themes. We've been speaking to a lot of the crew arriving over the week, and I was sort of watching back all of our interviews yesterday and today, and it's quite funny that something that sets this year apart, I think, is how much everybody said so many of the same things. So some of the common themes that I noticed people saying, lots of people mentioned that the weather did not do what any of the predictions said they were going to do. Everybody said it was a really tough and rough race. Lots of people mentioned that the harsh of the rain and how it felt like shards in their face. What were some of the key common themes that you heard throughout
Yeah,
interviews?
very much along the same line. Probably in truth, the toughness was a little different. The front end of the fleet, the toughness was just all on all of the time. For the second half of the fleet, it was actually really tough. Offshore, it looked pretty brutal yesterday, and there were some very exhausted looking people going here, but remarkably not many retirements yesterday, which you'd have thought might have been when that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, it absolutely most notable this year for that extraordinary forecast where even the best of the world's navigators just simply could not pick it until literally on the day, and even then they just had to be highly agile that first night at sea with these tiny little cluster bombs coming of microbursts and so on, putting them under a fair bit of pressure.
Yeah, it was just interesting to hear how many people had the same story, which I feel like is not what I've heard before, but anyway.
Do about 30 of these and you'll probably start seeing some
okay.
recurring themes.
That's only, my fifth one? So we had a really busy day yesterday with the majority of the fleet arriving, and man, everyone just looked so exhausted. I think we heard that it was quite tough coming round Tasman Island and just a lot of people just got hammered off Tassie. So, and it was interesting hearing Wendy talk about the crazy high seas that they had, 6 metre swell or something, which was interesting. So we did lots of interviews yesterday, as you would have seen on our Facebook and YouTube channel, and a lot of the people we spoke to were the two-handers that arrived. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what it was like talking to them?
Yeah, absolutely. And I should pick up that point about Tasman Island. Almost invariably when you get a really big blow, Tasman Island is some of the biggest seas you'll see. They're sort of whistling around off the Southern Ocean, and it just seems endless, and they are like tower blocks by the time you get around the corner there. So yes, everyone was dealing with that. The two-handers arrived yesterday, so Rupert Henry and Jack Butel were the first of the two-handers in, and indeed won that division in IRC, and indeed I think top 10, which is pretty amazing. And they are really small. They're all sort of in Constitution Dock. They are small boats, and then two-handing as well, and plenty of drama for those guys. So we had some good discussions with them. Lovely to see Cian McCarthy and Sam Hunt from Kinsale in Ireland coming over. Jan Ling with Aymeric Belvoir as well. And Rob Goff and John Saul, who are always a great interview, and they did really well with Kraken 3 winning in that division as well. It's an interesting one. I asked Rupert Henry, would we see more two-handers? Because we had 19 this year, we had 20 last. There's a growing interest in it. The biggest issue, he was saying, is really that the modified, the properly designed boats, which are mostly sort of French or European, they cost a fortune to buy here. So unless you do what Zhang Lin did, which is go over there and buy the boat and then get a really epic sailor, a mocha sailor, to come and sail with you, it's a huge investment. And we're talking hundreds of thousands. These things are 30 foot or thereabouts. And it could be 400,000 or 500,000 for a fully kitted boat. And at the point at which you probably wanted to do that, very often younger in the thing, you may not be actually have the wherewithal to do it. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but it's a very strong community. They're deeply supportive of each other, so that's really good. And it's always fun interviewing them.
Yeah, we also, fairly late last night, came back out to interview Wendy Tuck and Jules Hall, and I was holding the light, so if you see the light flickering, it's because I was laughing so hard. It was a hilarious interview, which we'd like to take some grabs from, because Wendy Tuck is just a delight to listen to. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what they said?
She's great. I mean, I think a couple of things more on a more sort of serious note in between the fun and games. Jules and Wendy are just a lot of fun together as well. They're very entertaining. Yeah. They had the Youth Sailing Academy group. It was a group that knew each other as well, which was really important. But interestingly, it was sort of the ability to take them through some really tough weather yesterday and somehow keep the humour light. There's a lovely bit about seeing seals and sort of things that was hilarious. But even Nathan Gullickson, who's a first-timer, sort of said, It's just so nice. You come up on deck, it's absolutely honking, there's seas everywhere, and there's Wendy. She's taking you through it, and then she's throwing in a bit of humour somewhere there, and she's brilliant, you know, and small wonder that she won first female skipper to win the Clipper Around the World race, taking complete rank amateurs all the way around the world. Exceptional sailor, and lovely to see her and Jules, and humble enough to be able to say it's amazing how much they're learning from the youngsters as well, because of course things are progressing, what they're learning through the sailing academy and so on it's a give back, so it's a beautiful little sort of circle there for them.
Yeah, that's what she said. It was really lovely to hear her say that it works both ways.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they learn from us, but we also learn a lot from them. It's really lovely. So should we talk division leaders at the moment?
We should, and I've suddenly realised I haven't got my list with me.
So this will be a test of your memory.
No, I'm not even going to go there. I think I would hate to get it wrong and have somebody say, hang on a moment, I got that division. Suffice to say that there's some really great names in there amongst them. It's always good to see Pretty Woman do well with Richard Hudson. He's been such a great mentor of the sailors. People like Alice Parker, very young navigator on URM. She's come through the sort of Richard Hudson Academy. Every year he takes young crew through and really brings them on, you know, for very promising young sailors. So it was lovely to see him there. Really nice to see two Tassies, Rob and John, do well with Kraken as well, and a few others in there. We've got 15 boats at sea still, and amongst them the Little Wild Oats, Azuro. We'd hoped to sort of have a chat with them, but we did an interview pre-race which we'll put up for them. And then right at the back, the cat.
Yeah.
The cat has been the star.
Everyone keeps asking about this cat. this cat that apparently
Ollie
enjoys being on the sea. Yeah, Ollie. Poor thing. There was a video the other day. It looked starstruck. It looked like it just been through some crazy storm, the poor thing.
So we're talking about Rob Williams on Sylph.
But he loves that cat,
Ollie.
so clearly it's being well looked after.
And it was hilarious that no sooner had the sort of line on has been sorted out than the media office said, we've got an interview with Ollie the cat. Anyone interested?
So many spectators are going, so is the boat with the cat on it in it? No.
So they're miles back. They've still got 250 nautical miles to do. They're up in the top end of lower end of Bass Strait now. My goodness me.
Tough race.
I don't know what their reception's going to be like. Most will have gone. But anyway, great. Well done to all of the guys. Especially it's, the more days you spend at sea, the more exhausting it is. It's a huge thing. When you're 5-6 days at sea, that's a really big ask, especially when you're going through rough weather. So well done to them.
Yeah, on a two-hander as well.
Yes, exactly. 3 two-handers out there still as well.
Yeah. So to wrap up, we have quite a few thank yous to get through because we haven't done it just on our own. There's lots of people supporting us. So I want to do a special thank you to Sail World and John. John
Curnow, yep. He and I on regular phone calls chatting about things. He's got a lovely phrase yesterday. He said, for what it's worth, can I throw a couple of coins in the Trevi fountain? And he's always got really nice perspectives and different perspectives. So we spend sort of almost daily, we're talking to each other every day and sometimes several times a day, just sharing stuff. It's great having John and the Sail World guys posting our stuff. It's lovely. Really pleased with those.
We really appreciate it. And we, of course, have to thank our driver, Stu, from Sydney, who gets us all in the right spots and just loves it as much as we do. Thank you, Stu. You help us throughout the year and we're forever grateful.
Absolutely.
We also have to say thank you to Sydney Helicopters, who get Dale and Cros safe in Sydney, flying around all the fleet.
And we should also say it's epic duo. So Brett on flying us, and then Rod Bailey, who's a very good sailor and who knows all the boats and is spotting other helicopters. So that duo is really, really good for us. That's brilliant.
Yeah, in fairly crazy conditions, they keep you safe, which is good. And we have to, of course, thank you to the Rolex media team and CYC. You guys look after us, make sure that we've got everything we need.
Yeah.
So
Get us out on boats. Thank you for that.
Yes,
that was good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have to do our yearly special thank you to Hobart Coffee Roasters for supplying us.
Lifesavers.
They supply us with our coffee. They know our order and know us by now, which is amazing because we come here once a year. And
so
they supply our breakfast every morning.
Just back off the dock, please go and see those guys. They're a lovely team and their food's great, coffee's brilliant. They've been wonderful. Thank you, guys.
Great all round. We need to thank the sailors because you guys come off this race absolutely exhausted, and then sure enough, just when you said hello to your friends and family, we're right in there with the camera, sometimes at night with a big light shining on your face. So thank you for your generosity and your patience and your willingness to talk to us and give us all the insights. We really, really appreciate it. Obviously, we couldn't do it without your willingness to talk to us. And we need to thank, of course, everyone who follows us and engages with our content. We do it for you, and it's been really lovely this year. We've had lots of regular followers, people with really lovely comments, and it just means the world to us to have you guys following us. It's why we do it, to keep people across the world informed of what's happening here in Australia and in the sailing world.
And I think it's worth saying that the audience for this race is huge. So Lindsay May, who's just done his 50th Hobart, had a party which was lovely to celebrate that. It was really beautiful yesterday with a whole bunch of his colleagues and friends over 50 years of consecutive races. And he said he was talking to a guy in Burnham-on-Crouch. Well, no one, where the hell's that? Well, actually, it's sort of east of London, right on the Thames River. And he said, you know, all the club members there, they know what's going on. And indeed, as a child, I remember this race was on television on Boxing Day, a bit light on news usually on the BBC in 1969 or whenever it was. They would always have the race out here. So it's a very famous race all around the world. And so it's lovely to be here and just bring that to you all. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, thank you to the extended Valcaddy team. It's not just Cros and I. Of course, we'll invite Dale and Jake on soon. No,
okay.
There are other people, Crosby, that we have to talk about. I mean, I know we think it's about us.
Well, quite.
Thank you to, of course, Steve, Mark and Emma for helping us throughout the year. I'm going to bring Dale on.
And we should also say thank you to Niall too, who stood in a couple of times for us. That was great.
Thank you to Dale. She's our producer,
go-to
videographer,
for content,
editor,
drone flyer, general all-rounder,
coordinator of all of us. None of us would know where we're going without Dale. And of course our cameraman, Jake, who's behind the camera. Thank you so much for following us for another really great year of the Rolex Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race. It's been a pleasure to bring you the content, and we hope you enjoyed what we brought.
Farewell, Kikes. Bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.